The time is just gone 8:30 a.m. We continue with the show this morning. Now, we've seen in the last few days social media a buzz talking about checkers, talking about their society product. And there has been just so much discussion taking place with regards to SANHA, the South African National Halal Authority, and labeling. And to clarify the issue this morning, and SANHA has actually issued a statement urging the Muslim community to stop spreading fake news about halal certification. And we joined this morning by Director at SANHA, by respected Moulana Muhammad Saeed Navlakhi. Moulana, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, Brother Inayat. Nice speaking to you after many moons.
And, yes, Moulana, I hope you're keeping well.
Shukr to Allah, shukr to Allah. Jazakallah for giving us the opportunity to reach out to Salam Media listeners.
Ji, Moulana, now, we've seen, in fact, I've seen just so much discussion taking place on social media with regard to this particular issue that has arisen. The Checkers Pork Society is talking about the SANHA logo. Some people have posted pictures with this product and the SANHA logo. So just to give us a better understanding, Moulana, the background to this and what actually happened at this particular Checkers store. I believe it was just one store, which is the Kraaifontein store in the Cape region.
Yes, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. With regard to these issues, firstly, we should keep in mind a very fundamental thing that in the FMCG industry or the supermarket retail industry, SANHA's policy has always been that these places should not be certified if they sell both halal and haram meat products. So as a policy, if a supermarket has got a halal butchery, then they cannot sell pork products in that particular store. It has to be a halal meat store then, or a halal meat and halal deli store. There's just too many areas of contamination when you have both. In the particular instance, in Cape, a lot of supermarkets have certification. However, in this particular instance, the Cape Gate store does not have any halal certification. There's no halal deli. There's no halal butchery. So there isn't even, in the past where these supermarkets have been certified and they've got halal and non-halal in a common store. We found labels from or the scale label carrying a halal logo when it actually is a pork product. So we've had several instances of that nature, and that's why we've entrenched this policy many years ago that a supermarket should not be certified in this manner. In this particular instance, it wasn't Checkers label. If we look clearly at the packet, it wasn't Checkers label. It was the label of a source supplier. Now, the source supplier supplies them about 25-liter sauces. So, and they have different flavors. They have barbecue, and they have balsamic, and they have salt and pepper, and the like. And this barbecue marinade that was purchased from the bulk product that was purchased from the source supplier, they appended that flavor, that spice seasoning flavor on that particular product. The actual Checkers label says clearly pork and there's no halal label, but the sauce label with the ingredients contained in that particular sauce, there's a whole lot of ingredients that are also listed on that label that contain both the Jewish kosher mark because the source supplier is certified and SANHA's mark because the source supplier is certified. And that created confusion that SANHA has issued certification to some people went on air and on their own little radio stations and said that SANHA issued halal certificate to a pork product. There was no halal certification issued to a pork product. The halal certification was specific to the barbecue sauce and not to the Checkers. So that was the area of confusion, and most certainly we agree that even a halal logo on the sauce label should not have been put on a pork product because it creates there's a level of misrepresentation and it does create that level of confusion. So yes, that is the background and that is the reality. Our thrust of our notification was purely that people should immediately verify and get clarity rather than, we had some maverick mufti going and making statements on social media saying that SANHA goes around issuing certificates to Pope. Now, that is absurd to the extreme, if you understand what I'm saying.
Well, Jim Moulana, in fact, I do understand fully well what you are saying, and I think I've seen one or two of the statements as well. And this is obviously a clear case of misinformation. And again, it's about incitement. It's about spreading malicious accusations again.
Unfortunately, that's the trend. People find that to be saucy, and our community, unfortunately, is going down that line. Instead of whether it's SANHA or any other body, whether it's within the halal space or any other space, we should understand that these structures that have been there, whether it's relief, social welfare, judiciary, halal certification, these structures are there for the assistance and preservation of the essence of our deen, to assist the Muslim community. And yes, we don't live in a perfect world. As long as we have humans, there are going to be shortcomings, there are going to be errors, but we've got to assist and support each other in rectifying them, in correcting them, in educating and creating awareness in the industry, rather than making Islam and Muslims seem to be this one lot of people out there that just go around bickering and slandering and slurring each other.
Yes. Now, Moulana, just looking at these supermarket chains, and we know we've got thousands right across the entire country, and just looking at SANHA and the level of engagement, because this was clearly a case, there was an error on the part of the checkers store concerned. But these are problems that may arise from time to time. What level of engagement is there between SANHA and these supermarket chains?
I'll give you a typical example. Obviously, where a particular outlet is certified, then there are supervisors we have on site. They are not entitled to have haram meat products whatsoever on site. There's frequent audits conducted by the office at such sites. So where there's regulation and certification, we have that oversight and control. However, that may be 1% of all the supermarkets out there. In that given instance, whether it's SANHA's mark or any other, in this particular instance, it was SANHA's mark. Within 8 hours, we had a nationwide survey done of more than 24 stores around the country, where our auditors in each region were instructed, please go to the nearest stores and check in the checker stores, look at their shelves, screen what products they have, and check out for this logo being used on any of the sources. From all the stores surveyed, it was only the one store where this problem was found. And apparently the source supplier also confirmed that this is an old label that we had more than 5 years ago already discontinued. This is a store that was revamped, and it probably came up from some storage corner and utilized. We then got, even that one label was the role that they had was immediately confiscated. So just trying to give you an idea that the action, you see, one is you're indifferent to a problem, and one is action that you take. So even in Saudi Arabia or in other Muslim countries where there's strict enforcement of capital punishment, etc., you will still get crime happening. It's not crime free. But the thing is this, that there is enforcement of the law and it is curbed and minimized. Alhamdulillah, in South Africa, besides just certification, it's not a formality. There is huge awareness. And I mean, typically in this instance, it's not a halal certified supermarket. A client is, a customer is going to buy snacks or whatever, and they walk past an aisle and they spot a product and they bring it to our attention, and we take immediate action. And this is what we need. We need consumer participation. We need consumer engagement, because they are our eyes and ears out there. You know, you have 140 staff nationally, but we've got 2 million Muslim consumers walking around. So we need people to support, because these structures are there to support the consumer. And we require the support and appreciate the support of the consumers in assisting us in regulating and ensuring that fraud doesn't take place. So I'll just give you an example. We're talking about fraud, and you might have seen SANHA regularly taking out notices informing the public of fraudulent and unauthorized use of the logo, and this happens. So do we stop certification? Do we cancel all regulation? Do we leave a free for all? Do we leave our Muslim consumers and Ummah totally unprotected? No, we cannot. So just in the last 24 months, as I said, there was more than 24 instances of fraud and unauthorized use of our logo. And we take action. Immediate action is taken. Where necessary, legal action is taken and appropriate, and where we get the cooperation and are able to nip the matter, but then we do that, as was in this particular instance.
Moulana, now this checker store in particular, what sort of action has been taken?
With this particular store, as I said, the labels that they had in their possession were immediately confiscated. An apology has been tendered. Products were immediately removed off the shelves and repacked without the label containing any halal logo on the source description. So that was the action that was taken, and it was immediate. Within a period of 8 hours from the time it was reported, a nationwide activity and effort was taken to monitor and curb the problem.
Well, Moulana, Jazakallah khairan so much for that, and also for taking time out and clarifying the issue. But just final word to the Muslim community of advice, when this type of thing, because at the end of the day, obviously, the biggest concern is when fake news is being spread, particularly when it comes to an important issue like halal or haram.
Yeah. Look, whether it's fake news or rumors or anything that you see out of the ordinary, we should immediately report it to the authorities concerned. I mean, you find the crime happening, report it to the police immediately. You find the problem in halal certification, report it to the halal certification bodies immediately in your area, and let them take the necessary action, rather than going on Facebook and so. Yes, definitely, where we don't get the required cooperation and support, and we need to escalate it to social media by all means. I'm not saying we should push matters under the carpet, but at the same time, let us understand, let us follow due process in addressing the problem. And the second most important message I'd like to give, and especially to the listeners from the Cape region, is that be very wary. There the trend is increasing. Even here it's happening and increasingly happening, but there it's been happening for a long while, where consumers would go to a supermarket to do their meat purchases. We always emphasize that either go to a Muslim butchery, or your meat products are the most integral and core of the halal dietary law system. There's strong regulation required throughout, not only the slaughter process, the entire supply chain going through logistics, warehousing, processing, and to the retail butchery. Ensure that you buy it from a bona fide supplier. And if you're buying it from a supermarket, ensure that they don't have a non-halal meat section or non-halal meat offering, because that's when contamination and problems definitely do occur.
Well, Moulana, once again, Jazakallah khairan so much for coming on and talking to us this morning. We wish you all the best, inshallah. Allah accept, Allah reward your efforts. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Moulana Muhammad Saeed Navlakhi, Director at the South African National Halal Authority, just clarifying the issue with regard to the latest situation, and also at the same time urging the Muslim community to stop spreading fake news about halal certification. The time is just gone 8:44 a.m. We'll come back. It's time for our weekly edition of Crime Talk. We'll be joined by the chairperson of Etiquini Secure, Imtiaz Said.
Every 60 seconds,